Good morning, Big Brother fans. It is Friday, July 15th, and we have a new head of household. I'm sure most of you already know that head of household is Jasmine. No, I'm not joking. Jasmine, the one that twisted her ankle, the one that some think touched the ground in her competition, but I don't think she did, honestly. There's got to be more than one camera angle, by the way. I can't believe there would be only one camera, but we only had the one camera on the TV show, so I would think that if it's convincing, if there's a convincing angle that shows that her foot didn't touch, they'll be sure to show it Sunday night, or they should, because right now, all we have is an angle where her foot is kind of out of frame when it's at its lowest point, and it's coming up as the camera finally drops and you see confetti moving out of the way. I think her foot literally pushed the air down towards the ground, and that confetti is so light that it moved out of the way, even though her foot didn't touch. But it was close. Her and Taylor both had very close. But anyways, let's see. We'll take a step back here and talk briefly about just the show in general, the results of Paloma leaving the show. So I did that update yesterday afternoon, or right around noon Eastern time, where I don't even remember why I did. I had the thoughts. I think we just had more thoughts about that Julie had said what was going to happen, or how things were going to go. Point is, obviously we saw that Paloma left. I tweeted out at one point, this is the images from the show would show Paloma laying in the head household room couches. A couple of people pointed out that was likely a couple of days earlier. It was not, the last time she was actually on the show. Based on her clothing, that's not what she was wearing that day on Wednesday. So take it for what it's worth. You can imagine that was the same kind of stuff that was going on there in the head of household room, or in the diary room when she finally left. So it is what it is. It worked out. I think what I was saying was, they've never canceled an eviction because of a house guest being evicted or leaving the show, and they managed to explain how it was going to work, in that, in theory, still not 100% sure. It sounded like the House still would have voted, maybe not, I don't know. Or maybe they would have had two sets of races. So, it's possible, I don't know. I mean, in theory, they would have voted, and then the loser of that vote would have gone against one of the backstage people. Some people speculated that Pooch would get to pick which backstage person between the remaining two. Brittany did win the vote, as we saw. So between Alyssa and Paloma, maybe Pooch would have picked one of them to go up against the person who got the most votes to be evicted. Although, I don't know, that would have been a lot of pressure on Pooch, because he would have basically had more power than they had a household, because he would be picking a person, whereas Daniel only picked two people, and the House voted. So I don't know if you would have given Pooch that much power. It's possible that maybe they would have had a random draw, and Alyssa and Paloma would have either gone against each other. No, they wouldn't have done that. I was going to say you want to win the competition, so they couldn't. I'm not sure what they would have done, how they would have done it. Maybe we'll find out from Allison or Julie later on, if Julie knew how it would have exactly worked. But the point is, they threw that together, and the speculation is that was the competition that we saw last night. The part one of the How to Household was actually the elimination contest for the eviction that should have happened last night, and that they modified it, which was good thinking on their feet, good change up in the way they did it. It was a darn close to running over time for sure. In the end, I don't know. You all watch the show, so I'm not going to go over it too much, more than I already did. But as I said, the feeds went down Well, the feeds didn't go down, sorry. The feeds didn't come back until about 3 a.m. Eastern time, midnight, Big Brother time. And when they came back, Jasmine was the new head of household, as I already said. Sounded like from their discussions that it was probably some kind of maybe a quiz, and when you answered wrong, you got splattered, possibly. So, yay, more cartoons, more silliness. Because, we can't just answer questions and be eliminated. We need a visual element to keep the kiddies interested. Oh, my. So, I say that, and I was amused, and maybe that's our fault. We really liked the first time that we saw them get splattered with stuff. And so now they do it a lot more. So, Jasmine's head of household. Jasmine was I would say the number 2 anti-Taylor person in the house. She's the one who claimed that Taylor kind of told Daniel that Taylor implied that Jasmine was heavy in the way that she made a comment about needing to be a size 0 to be a model, which really Taylor wasn't talking about Jasmine. Taylor was talking about herself, but somehow Jasmine transferred that to her and implied that Taylor must have been talking about her. So, yeah. It's Jasmine is very anti-Taylor. It's possible that the others in the house may talk her out of going after Taylor, but I don't know. I just don't know. I think Taylor may be one of the nominees, or maybe a backup nominee again. She's definitely not tight with Jasmine at all. There were times last week where there was, I don't remember who posted it, but Jasmine intentionally it seemed that Jasmine intentionally sat in front of Taylor with her back to her when she walked into a room, as in, like, I'm not going to acknowledge you. I'm gonna just sit facing away from you. So there's no love lost there with Jasmine for Taylor. They did have nots, and it was like I guess the previous have-nots were supposed to pick the new have-nots, but from what I saw, it sounds like it was a semi-volunteer thing. Initially, Taylor was talking about wanting to volunteer to try to be a team player and everything, but it didn't end up happening. And so, Daniel, Nicole, Pooch, and Terrence, I think, are the 4 have-nots. So you got that. So we've got Jasmine is head of household. We've got our have-nots. And we have this twist that we don't know anything about yet. I don't think it's been introduced yet. It'll probably be brought up today at some point, explained, set up, and everything before nominations. Remember, Julie yesterday said something about besties. We don't know. We don't know what the theme is for this week. That was festivals or the festival thing, or we don't know how the theme is going to play out this week, or what kind of a festival. I don't know. I'm annoyed that we have to have themes and ideas and all this stuff. Just do competitions and why does it all have to be so? Yeah. All right. Why do I watch this show again? It's like I like the core part of the show, and the rest of it I got to step around and go like, ugh, I hate that. But I like this part. So, yeah, it's a potential rough week for Taylor again, which means the fandom is going to be really ticked off again. So keep that in mind. Keep your head low. Just be ready for lots of grumpiness. Watch for Jasmine to say things that are going to annoy people to no end. She is on crutches, by the way. We don't know if she's going to get a scooter. There's been many references to Christmas. And so we'll have to see. And that's what I got for you guys right now, I think. That's about enough, I believe. I did do a Twitch yesterday. those of you that like the video side of things, those of you that used to watch me on Periscope, Twitch, I think it's twitch.com/BB Gossip. I did notice I am not a Twitch aficionado, and I don't know if Jasprit, my friend from Sequester, listens to these at all. I don't think he does, or maybe anyone else who knows, but Twitches seem to be a limited run as far as my Periscopes are still up from years ago that I did. You can still go to Periscope and find my Periscopes that I did. Sounds like Twitches do not last forever. I think they last, maybe a few weeks at the most. So there's only like 4 Twitches out there, maybe. All the ones I did last year in the past are no longer there. And so the ones from this year are there, but it sounds like the ones that I'm doing now may not be there come the end of the season. I'm not particularly worried about it. But for those of you that are looking for that stuff, that's where it's at. Had about 30-some people in there yesterday, which, I mean, that's not bad for Twitch. That's a lot, as a matter of fact. I think it's a lot because the feeds were down. I wouldn't anticipate that many in a regular thing. And I realize some people would think that's not that many. I mean, I have 1,000 people apparently that are listening to this every day at this point. So, you think 30-some isn't enough, but it's interactive. And over time, if people go back and watch it, you can add up. I remember with Periscope, the numbers would slowly creep up over time as people would watch the replays. So, anyways, it's a good time. I'm enjoying the Twitch part. It seems to, once I get it started, it seems to work. So there is that. What else to tell you guys? I'm trying to think here. It's one of those things where I got up first thing this morning, and because I had to catch up and figure out who the heck had won head of household and figure out what was going on. So I didn't have much of a chance to gather my thoughts. Any other thoughts I have? I've gotten, again, more positive feedback. Thank you. Several people have reached out to me and said they appreciate listening to me ramble like this. So that's nice to read. It really is, because you have that time where you're like, well, there's 1,000 people listening to this. I guess they like it, because I know that when I hear it back, I cringe a lot of times. Like, I guess yesterday I said Alyssa might have been leaving the house, so I got corrected on that. So, oops, there's my messing up my names. Oh, there's one more thought. So, just from reading several different folks out there's recaps of timelines. Like, I follow Joker's updates. I follow a lot of different places for updates and stuff as far as what's going on. I did see, it looked to me like at least at some point, Joseph and Alyssa seemed to be right in Jasmine's ears, which is kind of funny because we didn't really see much of them this past week, and so they may suddenly be playing a prominent role in the house. So it'll be interesting to see what characters we see. And Nicole is now appears to be in the Mamba Alliance, filling the slot that was vacated by Paloma. And so I don't know where Daniel and Nicole fit into all this, because remember, they were kind of the outsiders. In some ways, they were seen as a strong alliance, a pair, and I don't know if they're going to be seen that way anymore. I did also think I saw that Amira was the one to possibly invite Nicole into the Mamba Alliance. So, and Nicole filled in Daniel, so Daniel's aware of that alliance existing. So some of these alliances aren't very secretive or very, they're kind of like they're a group of people, but I don't know how strong any of these alliances are. I think this week it'll flesh out a bit more. I think this week we'll have a better idea on alliances and where things are at, and who's actually being loyal to each other. But right now they've been pretty open book, and I think some of these alliances are kind of, there's too many people that know about them, and so I think other ones will form. I think some of the side alliances may end up being stronger than the original alliances. So we'll see. All right, that's what I got, folks. I have really reached rambly stage, so I will sign off. I will wish you a happy Friday. Tomorrow. Tomorrow may be interesting. Tomorrow I may do a very early recording. I will be, again, I was on the road all day on Wednesday. I think I will be on the road all day tomorrow. So I may not have some downtime by myself where I can record these. I may early in the morning. That's what I'll probably do. And then maybe late at night or late in the afternoon. We'll see what happens. All right. Be well. Thank you for your support. Thank you to my patrons. And I will do a very brief plug here. If you would be interested in being a patron, you can go to patreon.com/BBGOSSIP and sign up. And for whatever, you can do $1 a month if you want. It's a monthly thing. It is not a per episode thing or anything. So really, at this point, you might get charged twice if you you can stick with it. There are people that have been doing it every month for several years at this point now. So, but you can do whatever you want or do nothing. Whatever you'd like, I would appreciate it. But again, this is free. I will never charge for this stuff. And there are ads at the back end. So that's another way. It adds a little bit of support. And with that, I will now officially sign off. Have a good day. If anything major develops, I'll do another one of these. But assume otherwise, I will just tweet out what happens and talk about it tomorrow morning. Okay? Thanks for listening, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.